what up?
Oh,
I think that's like
man.
our signature thing
I know.
now.
We do. That's like the beginning each time. Is this episode 5?
This is episode 5, dude.
I
Isn't that
feel
crazy?
like, I remember like watching sitcoms and stuff when
Yeah.
they would reach a certain level.
Yeah.
And like it was like a celebrated episode, and you'd see like, oh my god, it's like a big one. Like it was the hour-long special.
Yep.
Like when Happy Days.
Yeah.
You don't remember that.
It was a happy day when I watched it, actually.
Well, do you remember when Fonzie jumped the shark?
No, but I do know who Fonzie is.
Yeah, well, hopefully we don't jump the shark anytime soon.
Yeah.
So, episode 5. I feel
We're
like
here.
it's
We
good.
made it past the first one. I mean, that's all that matters. The viewers like it, so I mean, that's good. We got enough views.
Do they ever? And each week we're bringing something different. Last week,
Yep.
it was the glasses.
Yep.
This week,
Blazers.
so
Yeah.
I like that.
I think we're just elevating this as we go.
Yeah, no, nobody knows what to expect, which is going to make it's why I think it's become one of the most sought after afternoons in modern social media.
I
history.
actually had Instagram hit me up and say, "Whoa, you guys got to slow down. You're getting way too many views, way too many viewers." And I'm like, "Sorry, man, I can't pump the brakes. It's martini time."
No, I got 3 messages
Yep.
from Zuckerberg last week, and I have not called him back.
You know what? Good for you.
Thank
I don't
you.
think we need to.
No.
But he did ask what our martini is this week.
Well, let's get into that.
All
So this week it is the hot and dirty martini,
Just like
just like high school, right?
yeah.
Just like high school for you. So I've got it pre-mixed here. And this week we are using green chili vodka
Okay.
from, I think, what I classify as the vodka mecca of the world, Alameda, California.
Wow.
Yeah.
I feel like it has to be good if it has like the cork top, you know?
Well, it's kind of like, I felt like initially that was like $1. Like, look kind of like when you
It does
first just
kinda-
glance
it does
at it.
kinda
But then
look
when
like
you
$1.
look closer, it's not at
No.
all what it is.
It's cool though. I like
And then
it.
we've got some Stirring's Dirty Martini, olive brine.
Okay.
And then these are kind of like a wild card, the jalapeno and garlic olive from Maine and Geary.
That sounds good.
This should be interesting.
sounds
So here
good.
we go. I'm going to try not to spill any here. So a little bit for you.
Oh, thank you.
And
It smells spicy.
a little bit for me.
Yeah.
And I'm going to put this
Yeah, we don't want that.
somewhere. I'm going to put it right here. Right here for now. All right, let's try this out. Okay.
All right, let's see.
The hot and spicy.
The smell of it smells good.
Oh, it does smell good. Cheers.
Cheers.
Oh, that's delicious.
Wow, that actually is really good.
I actually said it was delicious before I tasted it. What I meant to
You
say
pulled me. You
what I
pulled
meant to
me.
say it was really cold. But it is good.
It is really good, actually.
Take 2. Let's try it.
And I'm surprised too, because like I thought, like with it being a little more clear,
Mm-hmm.
that it was gonna be more vodka, but it's not. It's actually really. It has a good spice to it.
Well, I kept with my continued theme of just winging it. I did not use a recipe.
Really?
No.
Oh wow,
I just
that's
poured
pretty.
a bunch of stuff into that.
That's pretty impressive. I might need to try the olive now. Hold on.
Oh yeah, we ought to
Hold
try
on.
that before so we get the whole thing.
Just because I'm
Yep.
like. Oh yeah, that's good.
The
You know
main
it's good when
ingredient,
we're silent.
jalapeno and garlic. Well, hopefully.
True. Jalapeno and garlic.
That's what that is.
Okay,
But-
now are we gonna do an olive rating?
Well, they stick to the olive rating, yeah.
Yeah.
But do we have to try and recap? Because it's going to be hard.
Let's not
every
recap.
week.
No.
Okay.
People
But
seem
I
to-
do
they
know
seem
that
to
the
view
top
other
score
ones.
so far is 8.
Yep.
And I think it was for the one last week.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't remember what it was.
I actually it was the apple teeny one.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
that was good. That was like a
I
Halloween.
gave it 8.
But this one's good for like this type of weather right now because I feel like this is like because for Seattle or Tacoma right now it's almost 60 degrees and it feels really nice. I'm actually sweating right now. So
It is sunny. It feels like spring, and it's kind of stressing me out because I feel like I need to mow my lawn.
Oh my god, me too. Yeah.
And then what you're going to do is you're going to mow it,
yeah,
and then you're going to fertilize it.
Yeah.
And then like
boom.
it's going to rain,
Yeah.
and then the lawn gets out of control.
Yep.
You can't even mow it.
Yep.
Okay, let's get back to this.
Okay,
I
yes.
know. Sorry, I was digressing.
No, this is typical Todd.
I know.
Just
I
kidding.
know. What are you going with here?
I'm gonna have to go with the 8. This is an 8. Definitely a solid 8.
I'm going 8.5. I think this is my favorite one.
This is pretty good. Yeah.
I mean, it really, really is good. I think it's just got a good flavor.
Wow. I might need a little more now. Is there more in that little shaker?
I don't know, but that's for after.
Okay. No, we don't. No, not after.
No,
No.
that is delicious. I really, really like that one.
I do too. I think that's one of my favorites.
Agreed.
So now, how do we top this now?
Well, I mean, I don't think that either one of us would have probably thought that would have been our favorite.
I honestly, I like spicy, but I really wasn't thinking it was going to be this good.
No, it's delicious.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on. How was your weekend?
Dude, my weekend was great. Can't complain. Busy with.
Did you have the kid yet?
No. I'll let you know.
Oh,
We're actually trying to plan that too. Like
Oh.
once it happens, like, so how do we do this now? So
Oh.
we're just thinking about just maybe doing a baby bottle with martini for the baby. No, I'm just kidding. We need to get rid of that. I'm gonna get in trouble
No,
with that.
we're not doing that.
Yeah.
No, we're not going to do that. But
Good weekend though. It was busy. Like we had an open house, slammed. People are out looking. I mean, it could be because it was nice.
yeah,
I feel like everyone's kind of coming out of the woodworks right now. In the spring market,
yeah.
kind of like the grass, just I guess not blooming but growing.
Well, I think we go from just a few weeks ago we had snow.
Yep.
And it's been cold. I mean, just literally a few weeks ago it was 22 degrees.
Yeah.
And now it's like all of a sudden, and I don't think people understand this, like maybe that live in California or whatever, but and this goes with the real estate market, where our market up here is very seasonal.
Very.
Because when it's raining and cold, you don't feel like doing anything.
No, everyone just hibernates.
It's like all you hear about is, hey, did you watch such and such movie?
Yeah.
That's it, because that's
Netflix.
all people do.
Yeah.
So it gets when the sun comes out, all of a sudden, like I know that I'm ready to do some yard work. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
Well, then you start like, what?
I don't
I was like, actually, do you like doing yard work?
I like some of it.
I'm weird like that.
I don't like to weed.
I don't like to weed, but there's something about it. Like, you do it. Well, first of all, you have to go do it, and then you do it, and then when it's done, you're like, wow, it looks amazing. And it looks really good when people ask, who's your landscaper, and you're like, oh, it's me. Yeah.
It's JM.
It's JM.
I use JM landscaping.
Holla at me. Just kidding. Just kidding.
It's 1555 yard. But what about pressure washing?
Do I like pressure washing?
Yeah. So here's the thing with pressure washing. I think what you get with it is you get immediate gratification.
You do. Yes. The cleaning factor of it.
Yeah, and it's a lot of times incredibly tedious.
Very.
But do you use the surface cleaner?
Well, like what's that?
It's the round.
Oh, that's right.
thing.
I was just talking to someone about that. I heard it actually works really well. Or have you not used
So about 2 years ago,
it? Oh God, where is this
I was
gonna go?
introduced to the surface cleaner.
Yeah.
Life changing.
Really? Okay, so it was good.
Changing.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know if you have a deck. I don't know if you have just concrete. You put this thing on, and instead of going one little line at a time, it's like you're pressure washing with a mop.
But how do you draw your name then? Or like funny little, inappropriate.
Well, you don't have to use
Just
it for
kidding.
that. Yeah, no, I know. Yeah, I get it.
You gotta do that.
No, I get it. But
Maybe we should put the link on this video so we can get some Amazon credits.
I'm just telling you, get one.
Okay.
It'll be one of the best things you ever bought.
All right.
It's
all right.
well worth it.
All right. I'll have to look into that.
Okay.
Well, do you want to hop into the questions?
Let's do it. Yeah.
All right. So we did get a really good question from Instagram. So thank you for following this journey we have and actually replying to us. That's awesome. So thank you for that. So the question we have, and I kind of shrunk it down a little bit to kind of make more sense, but it said, I purchased a starter home a couple years ago, and I'm looking for my next step. First of all, good for you. How can I use my equity? And this is the big one everyone's talking about. Are we concerned at all with the market with some of these well-known banks collapsing? So do you
That
want
is a multiple part question.
That is. I think we should start off with why don't we start off with the bank part? Because we're not going to go too far in that. We're just going to do just a quick touch base on that. And then we can hop into the equity and how we can leverage it. So my personal stance from the views that I've watched, CNN I've been watching, which I really don't like CNN, but I watched it. And they basically just said they made very poor investments. And that's kind of where the start of it. Obviously, we talked about the tweet that kind of helped with it, but this really isn't going to affect a lot of us. I mean, this is more so like the crypto side. What are you seeing?
Well, I mean, I think Silicon Valley, in general, is a very high tech area, right?
Very, yeah.
And so you have a bank there that is not maybe as diversified as,
Chase.
well, yeah, and maybe just not as diversified as they should have been.
Yeah.
And because it's so tech driven, you had investors, you had people there that were watching certain things there. There was some potential mismanagement. I don't know all the ins and outs of that bank,
Yeah.
right? But there's talk of that the executives there had all been selling out their stock. People watched that, obviously.
Yeah.
That was obviously concerning to
Yep.
enough. It was concerning enough to where somebody said, "Hey, if I were you, I'd get your money out."
Yeah.
And that tweet, and because it's such a tech bank, it
Boom.
literally it made a run on the bank,
Yeah.
and they did not have what they needed to cover what was happening, and it's unfortunate.
Yeah,
And
it
I don't
very
think
is.
anybody wants to see that, but I also think, and again, I'm not a expert on banks
Yeah.
and the analysis of everything that goes on, but I certainly don't think that what happened there is a reflection on something that's going to happen with JP Morgan Chase,
No.
Bank of America.
Because if you really look at it, like you
Yeah.
have this compared with the almost the big dogs, right? Is they're
I mean, they were big.
They're big
in terms of assets.
yes,
In terms of assets, but not in terms of what overall in the bigger
bigger
banking
picture.
system. It's not a publicly, well, they were publicly held, but not anyway. That's why I don't want to talk deep about banks.
Yes, because we don't know the whole thing. But the biggest thing is no, this isn't going to have this huge effect like everyone's saying. The buyer saying, well, I'm going to wait for the whole housing market to collapse. Well, you're going to be waiting for a long time because that's not going to happen. I mean, that's just, I guess we don't have a crystal ball, but that is facts. It's not going to happen.
So I went to an economic summit this morning.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and it was.
Where are your glasses at? We need to put these on now.
I know. So let me explain.
Hold on 1 second.
One of the things they talked about was the absolute shortage of housing, and this isn't just here. It's a nationwide problem, and we have about a 6-year backlog of housing, and so because of that, we are in a place where you may see these little dips. I think we talked about it in one of the episodes that we had a whopping 0.7% decrease this year.
Yeah.
And that's what you're going to see.
Yeah.
The demand is still so high, and there are no houses, especially in areas like this.
Yeah.
Where we don't have the land where they can just keep building and solve the problem. You go down to an area, say like Phoenix.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, they're building.
And
crazy.
It's a great spot, right? But you go and it's like, hey, I'm in Phoenix, I'm in Scottsdale, I'm in Gilbert. It's just the next street's another city because they've got so much land and it's flat, and they'll just keep on moving out.
Yep. We
kind of have a couple of distractions or detractors here, which would be mountains and water. They make it a little more challenging.
Yeah, you can't really build on a mountain or water. I mean, I guess you can have a houseboat, but
true.
I don't know how much.
That may be the next thing.
Yeah,
that may be the next thing.
We'll see.
We may want to look into that.
Do early investments.
But I think overall, people still. I mean, I still hear it a lot. The people still think this is very similar to 2007, 2008, and it is in no way even remotely the same.
Yeah, no, not at all. Well, I think that's all we touch base on that one.
Let's do that.
And I think we go into the next one is the positive side of things is they bought their home a couple years ago. They want another next step, so I can touch base on that. But really, the equity part. I mean, I think people, when they're seeing the news and they're like, well, home appreciation is going down, and all stuff. Well, in reality, it's not. I mean, I believe it was a couple weeks ago. I said it was 0.2%. We're still up.
Yeah,
so that's still up.
Yeah.
And I can do the now data. I haven't really pulled the exact from today where we're at. But if you look at the whole picture, and this is from CoreLogics, is they found in all of America, the average homeowner in 1 year has $34,300 in just the past year in equity. That's a lot of money. So if you own longer than that, which majority of the people do, let's just go on the average of the 4 to 5 years people have, you have a lot more equity than that. But what can you do with that equity? How can you go take the next step?
Well, and if they're talking about just pure equity from appreciation, there's also not a lot, but if you've owned a house for a few years, I mean, you're still getting a small amount of equity from just paying your payments.
Yeah.
It's not a lot, but it starts at, depending on your loan. I mean, it's still several $100s a month.
Yep.
But at the end of the year, you're probably looking $5,000, $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 in additional equity.
Obviously, depending on your home and where it's at,
is everything.
All
that. But Well, I mean, there's lots of things you could do with it. I mean, and I think again, it goes back to what do people want to do? I mean, there's if you buy a house and you bought an older home and maybe
Yeah,
you stay there and your dream is just to remodel this thing.
that's
Well,
mine.
I mean, equity helps with that. I mean,
Yeah,
there's ways to pull that equity out and help you renovate that home. There's also, maybe not after 1 year, but maybe after 5 years. And again, there's so many factors at play
yes.
here
These
with,
are just
yeah,
general what
yeah.
we're
I mean,
talking
with
about
how
now.
much are we appreciating? But,
Yeah,
you know, maybe thinking about owning a rental. Or
yeah,
maybe the first house you bought, you keep as a rental. And maybe before you have done that, you pull some money out, you use that as a down payment on your next home
yeah.
or a second home. Maybe you want a place in the mountains where you actually could go.
Yeah, exactly. Or the
Or
water,
the
the
water,
riverboat.
yeah.
Well, I have a good
Um,
example about that though
yeah.
too. So last year we sold one of our past clients' homes.
Mhm.
We previously sold it to her about 3.5 years, maybe 4 years before that. And this was purely we had a game plan. It was this can be your starter home. You can either rent this out when the time comes and you can buy your second home, or you can sell it and buy your forever home. And that was kind of like our idea with this whole thing. Obviously, we don't have a crystal ball. We don't want to, this is the 100% plan, but we wanted to make sure it was going to work out, and it did. So when she sold, she netted after fees, everything, $120,000 off a condo. So I mean, if you're netting $120,000 off your just starter home, so basically it's
How
cheaper than
long
a
was
rent.
that?
It was 4 years.
Yeah,
So I mean, that's pretty good, And she ended up
it is
buying this
good.
really nice home that she wanted, and because she did want to rent, but also there was like some things going on with just like the rental moratoriums and things like that. And
Yeah.
I totally get that, but just how you want to play your game. But the nice thing is she had that option. So I think going back to the question is, what should your next step be? It's really what you want to do. So like you were kind of saying, is maybe we do make it more of a rental and we pull the equity out and buy your next property, or you have the flip side of where you could sell it and buy your next home. What do you?
Yeah, well, I think we're in a different, we're in a different generation now than we were, like, say, from like parents who they lived in a house for 30, 40, even 50 years,
Yeah.
maybe longer. They didn't move around. I
Yep.
think that,
A lot of jobs now are like all over. Now we have
yeah.
more remote jobs. You're not set in that one area, so I think people have more options, right?
Well, and I think that's where, we haven't, we'll maybe touch on that at another time, but,
Yeah,
some of these areas that you wouldn't think would potentially have the type of appreciation they've been having,
yeah.
when people can work wherever they want, which is not going away.
No,
I mean, we were taught during COVID that you can work from pretty much anywhere.
yeah, yeah,
And I think that's going to continue for a long time.
yeah.
It's funny. I know I always go on tangents, but like I remember
Really, you
watching
do?
like
I didn't know that.
I remember watching a football game, right?
Okay.
And I watched a football game during COVID, and the announcers weren't even at the stadium, right?
Oh yeah,
Like
yeah.
they were at their house, just like us,
Hanging out.
just watching, and they're announcing. And I'm thinking, how much money could they save? You think about all the announcer crews going over every game, college, pro, every weekend, and they could just sit at home and just basically announce the same exact thing we're watching.
Yeah, yeah,
But those are the kind of things that changed, during COVID that you didn't realize.
yeah,
Now, will that probably be the case? Probably not. But there's still a lot of things. So there's lots of markets we can go to. Eastern Washington here, um, and you look at right over the mountains. What do you have? You have Easton, Cleellum.
yep.
They have boomed
Oh my God,
over the
Cleveland,
last few
dude.
years because, in the winter it's a little challenging.
Yeah.
But for the most part, you can almost commute from Cleellum to Seattle as fast as you could from Tacoma to Seattle.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So I think that that's still going to continue. What was the question?
The question is they bought the home a couple years ago and they're looking for their next steps. How can they leverage equity? So
Yeah.
like for you, like, so could they go do could they pull the equity out? Maybe someone doesn't want to sell their home, have to deal with that, then move right afterwards. Maybe they want to take the equity, buy their next home, then sell, right? So they could do some options like that.
Yeah, it's going to, again, there's so many factors there. It's going to
factors.
depend on whether or not, how fast they're looking to do it. If we have to include both payments or not. There's a lot going on there.
Yeah.
But yes, I mean, but if they were thinking about doing that, they could potentially pull out the equity, to have the down. But most people at that stage are probably not going to be that comfortable having both house payments. So
Yeah,
they're
well,
probably going
yeah,
to still want to sell, get their proceeds, and buy. But that's where I would ask you. I mean, we're still in such a tight situation here where it used to be easier, right? It used to be that, hey, I want to go buy that house.
yep,
I'm going to sell mine, then buy it. So I'm going to put in an offer contingent
yep.
on when I sell mine. And that was just kind of how it was done.
Do a rent back. You
Yep.
can get away with all that. Now
But that's not really happening,
no,
is
it's
it?
a little different. And I mean, I think that's where you need to make a game plan, and that's where I think we mentioned last time is having that team. So with your lender and your
Yeah.
agent is having that conversation so they can get a plan put in place for you, because there is options. Like right now, we're actually doing it with a client. They want to buy a home. They need to sell their home, and so what we're doing is, and they want to basically buy it all cash. So basically, what we're doing is we're going to get your home prepped. We're going to get it all ready to go, list it right when we get an offer in. That's where we go make an offer on some of the other ones. We're still looking. We're still doing that there, but not falling in love with that next one, because you don't want to make a decision off emotional. You want it to be a smart, sound decision, right? And so I think just having that plan in place, having the lender who can help you with your financial side of things, and the agent who's able to kind of game plan how do we go from A to B. That's really key right now.
That just brought up something else that I want to talk about.
Oh,
So
I'm out. No, I'm just kidding.
think about this for a minute. This is the biggest financial transaction that anyone's probably going to make.
Yeah, most likely. Yeah.
And I hate to say this, and it's still so dysfunctional that in a lot of sense, you would have a client, they go out look for houses with you.
Yeah.
And then you're like, well, who's doing your loan?
Yeah.
And they're like, Joe down the street.
Yeah.
And then you don't know Joe.
No.
But now they call Joe.
Yep.
And now some guy named Joe who you don't know calls you and says,
That
yeah, they're
rhymed
fine.
actually.
Right?
Yeah.
And now but my point is, I think moving forward, and that's kind of what we're trying to do here.
Yeah.
It's making this a team effort, and that's what's going to help everybody. Because
Yes.
me not disclosing everything to you or this, it's not. Why are we doing this in an industry where they're making their biggest financial transaction? Why are we not all sitting down at the same table
Talking
and
about
having
everything.
this conversation up front?
Yep.
And I think that's why we're changing real estate.
Yeah. Boom. That was really good.
Thanks.
I think honestly, I think we should end it right there. That was really good. I think you just like dropped the mic. I just feel like
what? That's the slogan.
changing real estate.
We're changing real estate one transaction at a time.
I was going to say one martini at a time.
and with the martinis too.
Yeah.
So let's go. Cheers.
Cheers.
See you next week.
Figured out our ending.